all about the events that occurred on this date in years past, both recognized by other historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information come from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History, historical calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, today is, what is today? Freya's Day, aka Friday, April 14th, 2023. So, I am, of course, Aoxander, and I am joined by...
Dr. Jace.
Yep. And, of course, the viewer is, you, the viewer, are you. And gonna start off in 43 BC. I actually did a little bit of research writing yesterday. Didn't polish the script, though, but still... We're going to start us off in the year 43 BC, Battle of Forum Gallorum. That's the kind of, that rolls off the tongue right well. Forum Gallorum, huh? Mark Antony, besieging Julius Caesar's assassin Decimus Junius Brutus in Mutina, defeated the forces of the consul Pansa, who was killed. Yep, after the assassination of Caesar, a lot more, stuff happened, so yeah. 193, Lucidius Septimus Severus was crowned Emperor of Rome. We've spoken about him quite a bit, and actually his birthday was recent, April 11th, and his death day was a little bit farther away, but still kind of recent, relatively, in February 4th. So we've spoken about him, off and on pretty heavily the past couple of months. And we're going to jump on to 1191. 85-year-old Giganto Bobo became Pope Collientus III. Okay, what a name, Bobo. Giganto, Giacinto, Bobo, if anybody's seen that anime. 1434.
This show has a script.
It does normally, yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, which I haven't really well, we've been utilizing the website as a script, but I've recently gotten back into researching and writing, having a secondary script. If you actually see the show, you'll see what I'm working with here. So, anyway, 1434, the foundation stone of Cathedral St. Peter and St. Paul in Nantes, France, was laid. Alright, so let's check out that cathedral. Let's see here. Which, by the way, you can watch my stream, my sharing screen here on Discord. You can watch that to see what I'm doing, at least on the browser side. So let's see here. Oh, that's a cool cathedral. Wow, that's one hell of a spire, jeez. That spire's bigger than the building. Compensating for something there, cathedral? Damn, that thing's enormous. We're going to jump on up to 1536. English King Henry VIII expropriated minor monasteries. And yeah, I was watching I think it was a History Explained or something in a nutshell. I don't know. I follow several different history channels on YouTube, and this one, they do animated things, but it was talking about King Henry VIII here, and he actually closed down a lot of churches because he created the Church of England, and he utilized that as a source of income, for a flash in the pan, essentially. Gonna move on up to 1611. The word telescope was first used by Prince Federico Chesi. Alright. So, that word. Yeah. 1699, the birth of Khalsa, the Brotherhood of the Sikh religion in northern India in accordance with the Nanakashahi calendar. Alright. 1775, first abolitionist society in the U.S. organized in Philadelphia. Alright. 1775, wow. All the way back then they were fighting slavery. I think they were. I think there's this is the abolitionist society, but I think there were movements before we even formed as a nation, before our revolution. And I think to some degree, trying to abolish slavery was part of the revolution to begin with. Just a small part, at least, but it was there. It really blew up in the Civil War, of course, but yeah. 1821, we got the first American dictionary, the first U.S. dictionary. Its author, Noah Webster, registered its copyright for publication. Webster! Hey, I know that name. You know that name too, Jace, don't you?
Webster?
Yeah.
I used to live in a town called Webster, so yeah.
Oh, damn. No, I'm talking about the dictionaries. Webster's dictionary and all that stuff?
Webster's dictionary. Yeah, sure, I know that. Yeah, man, let me tell you a little bit about this day in my history. Probably about, let's just say 28 years ago. I probably asked my mom, what the hell does this word mean? And she says, "What word?" And I'll tell her, and she would have just told me to look in the dictionary.
Ha! That's a good mom.
Yep.
Raising you to be self-reliant. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yep. 1831, soldiers marching on a bridge in Manchester, England, caused it to collapse. And I think this is the example, because there is, I don't know what the word is, like harmonic frequency or something. I know that's not the correct term. But if you, like on a, especially on like, a suspension bridge or like anything that's not solid, like if you, with a bunch of people, all walk with the same step, left, 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 right, left, it creates, some sort of like movement in the ground, and it will actually cause the bridge to violently react. And in this case, I believe this is the example. It actually collapsed. That's why in a lot of places when you see bridge openings and such, they have everybody marching not in step in order to not have a unified up and down physics. I'm not explaining that well, but I hope I'm getting the point across. Anyway, 1836, U.S. Congress formed the territory of Wisconsin. Hey, that's some good news for Stapes right there. I
Right.
know. I know she's born in Minnesota. I just like to screw with her saying that she's from Wisconsin. It makes her so mad. 1841, the first detective story published, Edgar Allan Poe's Murders in Rue Morgue, April of 1841. All right. 1849, Hungary declared itself independent of Austria with Louis Kossuth as its leader. Okay. 1858, abolitionists John Brown met Harriet Tubman and a constitutional convention convened in Chatham, Ontario. That's right. John Brown, the possible, first real action that led up to the Civil War. A lot of people don't really know much about that. Everybody knows about Fort Sumter, but there was a violent thing. I believe John Brown is the guy who did it, what was it? Kansas? I think it was Kansas. So, anyway, 1860, the first Pony Express rider arrived in San Francisco from St. Joseph, Missouri. All right. And, speaking of Fort Sumter here, 1861, formal Union surrender of Fort Sumter, right before the outbreak of the Civil War. I believe actually, when did the Civil War start? Let's see here. When did Civil War start? April 12th. So, 2 days ago. Wow. Okay, I think we did cover that on the 2 days ago. Oh, no, wait. Oh, no, I took 2 days ago off. Wow, so I took the day off. That was the start of the Civil War. Wow, okay, of course, that would happen. Anyway, 1863, U.S. inventor William Bullock patented continuous roll printing press. All right. That's significant right there. 1865, U.S. Secretary of State William H. Seward and his family were attacked in his home by Lewis Powell as part of the same conspiracy to assassinate Abraham Lincoln. Ay-ya. Wow. And while that was happening, 1865, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln was shot in the head by John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theater in Washington. He died a day later. Oh, man. So, yeah, this is the anniversary. 1865 on this date is when Abe Lincoln got shot in the back of the head. Some would say, I'm not going to get political. I was going to bring up a certain politician who's notorious for killing people, but that might result in my mysterious suicide. Anyway, 1868, SC voters approved Constitution, 70,758 to 27,228. That's a pretty significant discrepancy right there. And I think SC, South Carolina, I can't think of any other thing. What say you, Jace? Would that be South Carolina?
I like cheese.
I do too. 1871, Canada set denominations of currency as dollars, cents, and mills. All right. What's a mill? Mill.
How's it spelled?
MILLS.
Well, that would be a mill, for.
Oh. I get it. Yeah.
Mill could be on the side of a river. With a
No,
nice
no, no,
little
no. It's a currency.
hydroelectric wheel.
It's a current. I know what a mill is. I'm talking about the currency denomination. Um,
So million.
yeah, in the United States, it is a national unit equivalent to a thousandth of a United States dollar, a hundredth of a dime, or a tenth of a cent. So a millionth. So yeah, I never thought of that. You know what? Here, there's a wiki here. So I'm gonna add this in the underbar in the description below. Why do I have two pings? Is that from Alice? Looks like Alice. Yeah, that's Alice. Anyway, hold on a second. I want to move this over here so that way I don't lose it. Anyway, let's move on up here. We got 1872 Dominion Lands Act passed, Canada's Homestead Act. Huh. What is that? Dominion Lands Act. Let me look that up here. 1872. Let's check this out. The Dominion Lands Act, a long title, an act respecting the public lands of the Dominion, was an 1872 Canadian law that aimed to encourage the settlement of the Canadian prairies and to help prevent the area being claimed by the U.S. Ah, so their response to Manifest Destiny, essentially. So yeah, they got to land rush. Reminds me a lot of every month at Arcade, the housing rush. 1872 as well. What?
Oh, that was Arcade. Sorry, that was Arcade.
Yeah.
You said Arcade, I literally freaking heard RuneScape.
I think you're smoking too much weed today, bro. You gotta get the corn out of your ears.
East Coast, West Coast?
Not on the show, but afterwards. Anyway, 1872, San Francisco organized the Bar Association, which I wonder if that's alcoholic bars or if that's like, the bar exam for lawyers. I don't know. I present that as a challenge to you viewers. Like, what is the semantics of this exact article? Is it about, alcohol bars, pubs, taverns? Is it about law or is it about something else? What is the San Francisco Bar Association? You know what? Actually, let's look. 1872 San Fran Bar Association. I can just look it up. Oh, here we go. The Bar Association of San Francisco BASF was established in 1872 as a non-profit legal membership organization that provides San Francisco legal professionals with networking, educational, and pro bono opportunities in order to better serve the community. BASF is located at 201 Mission Street in San Francisco. All right, so it was about law. I thought so. And so I'm sorry, audience. I kind of stole your challenge there. But anyway, moving on up to 1881, the 4 dead in 5 seconds gunfight in El Paso, Texas occurred. Wow, 4 dead in 5 seconds. That's humbling. When you think about an entire life being spent times 4, and within 5 seconds, all of that is gone. That's terrifying. 1890, Pan American Day, the first conference of American states in Washington, D.C., so U.S. states. 1894, first public showing of Thomas Edison's kinetoscope moving pictures, which he stole. That's been proven. 1896, U.S. Patent Office issued patent number 558,393 to Dr. John Harvey Kellogg of Battle Creek, Michigan for flake cereal and process of making some. Cornflakes! So, here you go. John Harvey Kellogg. Kellogg's Cornflakes. There you go. 1900, Veterans Hospital at Fort Miley formed. All right. 1902, James Cash Penney opened his first store, the Golden Rule Store in Kemmer, Wyoming. And he would later go on to form another store that we all know today, J.C. Penney, James Cash Penney. The guy with money in 2/3 of his name. So, yeah. He knew a thing or two. So, yeah. 1906, U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt denounced muckrackers in the U.S. press, taken from John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Process. Muckraker. What is a muckraker? Let's check that out here. What is a muckraker? And did I add that link in the underbar? I did. Did I? Yes, I did. Okay. What is a muckraker? The muckrakers were reform-minded journalists, writers, and photographers in the progressive era in the United States who claimed to expose corruption and wrongdoing in established institutions, often through sensationalist publications. That sounds like an early form of cancel culture to me, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe they were like a lot better than the people we have today. Back then people actually had something called integrity and ethics, and morals. So anyway, we have here 1909, Anglo-Persian Oil Company formed in London. Okay. 1910, the Pan American Union formed. And while that was happening, in 1910 as well, U.S. President William Howard Taft began tradition of throwing ceremonial first pitch on opening day of baseball season. Oh, look at that. That's kind of ironic. Our fattest, heaviest president started a sport tradition, usually associated with people not morbidly obese like he was, but hey, more power to you. That's awesome. So, 1912, the RMS Titanic, the world's largest ocean liner, hit an iceberg at 11:40 p.m. off Newfoundland, and later sank in the early hours of 15th of April. So we're going to be talking about her again tomorrow. But yeah, this is the anniversary of the Titanic, guys. 111 years ago, I think. Hold on, let me do the math. 2023 minus 1912. 111. I was right. So I see, audience, I'm not entirely stupid. We're going to move on up here to 1914. Dr. Harry Plotz isolated the bacteria that caused typhus fever, specifically at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City. All right, typhus. Your days are numbered. While that was going on, 1914 as well, the U.S. head of Firestone Tire and Rubber Company, Stacy G. Karkoff, patented non-skid tire pattern. So it has to be all the grooves and all this stuff, in the actual tires. So, Jace, you live out in an area that is very grateful for, tire traction and all that stuff, especially when it snows.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta have that all-wheel drive too.
Yep. Moving on up to 1915, A's Herb Pennock is within 1 out of pitching the first opening day no-hitter. Heartbreak. That's close but no cigar. 1918, Douglas Campbell was the first U.S. ace pilot shooting down 5th German plane in World War I. Look at that. Douglas Campbell. 1921, Prince Henry opened Rotterdam, Amsterdam, Bremen, Hamburg air route. All right. 2 years later, 1923, Italian OMNI set helicopter distance record of 358 meters. And I don't know why my voice is cracking so much today. I don't know what's going on. 1925, first regular season Chicago Cubs game broadcast on radio, WGN, by caller Quinn Ryan. Cubs beat Pittsburgh Pirates 8-2. All right. 1926, George Gershwin and Eric Gershwin's first collaborative musical, Lady Be Good, featuring siblings Fred Astaire and Adele Astaire as a brother and sister dance team, opened at Empire Theatre, London's West End, running for 326 performances. Fred Astaire. That's a name a lot of people know. 1 year later, 1927, the first Volvo car premiered in Gothenburg, Sweden. All right. My dad owned a Volvo. It was a piece of shit. 1928, Manus Airlines started first regular passenger flights between San Francisco and L.A. Cool. 1931, Spain became a republic with the overthrow of King Alfonso XII. I believe, shortly after that, Francisco Franco, turned Spain into a fascist dictatorship. So, wait, let's move on up to 1932. World's first particle accelerator was built by Ernest Walden and John Cockcroft. Performed the first artificial nuclear fission with lithium at Cambridge University. All the way back in 1932. Holy cow. Wow. I had no idea. We've been doing science that advanced that far back. And, it really makes me question why we aren't farther along than we are today. So... 1935, Black Sunday, severe dust storm ravaged the U.S. Midwest, led to the region being named the Dust Bowl. All right. Yep. The Grapes of Wrath, anybody? Whoa. That's coming up, actually. Wow, I did not plan that. 1936, French singer Edith Piaf was questioned after nightclub owner and her patron Louis Laplay was murdered in Paris. Yeah. And speaking of the Grapes of Wrath, back in 1935, we have 1939, John Steinbeck's novel, The Grapes of Wrath, was published. That's I wonder if that was intentional. Like, publishing it on the 4th anniversary of when the Dust Bowl was like, I think, well, it was big. It was named the Dust Bowl. So, yeah. 1940, RCA demonstrated its new electron microscope in Philadelphia. Wow. 1941, first massive German raid in Paris. 3,600 Jews were rounded up. Yikes. 1941 as well, we got the 45th Boston Marathon, won by Leslie Paulson in 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 38 seconds. His third victory in the event. Nice. Leslie. 1943, a JN-25 decrypted by U.S. intelligence detailing a forthcoming visit by Marshal Admiral Yamamoto to Balaale Island resulted in his plane being shot down 4 days later. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that's how it happened. We intercepted something and then we shot him down. Yamamoto was the guy behind the Pearl Harbor attacks, and yeah, we made sure to send him right to hell. 1943 as well, Generals Alexander, Eisenhower, Anderson, and Bradley discuss an assault on Tunis, the Africa campaign. There. 1944, the first Jews were transported from Athens arrived at Auschwitz. Yikes. 1944, the freighter Fort Stickney. What's wrong with my voice? Fort Stickney. Am I going through second puberty or something? Exploded in Bombay, India, killing 1,376. 1944 as well, General Eisenhower became the Supreme Allied Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force. Yep. 5-star general. 1945, U.S. planes bombed Tokyo and damaged the Imperial Palace. Yep. 1945 as well, U.S. Marines attacked Take, the tallest mountain on Okinawa's Motobu Peninsula. Alright. 1945 as well, during the Second World War, U.S. 7th Army and Allied forces captured Nuremberg and Stuttgart in Germany. Now this is interesting. 1948, a flash of light was observed in a crater Plato on Moon. So that's UFO? Anybody? Like, who's on the moon creating light? Or like, did the edge of the crater just catch the sun ray perfectly? Like, was it in the perfect position? You know what? Here, this will be the challenge to you viewers. Can you find me more information on this? Like, I'm going to look this up anyway because I just want to see if there's anything on the surface level, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of digging behind this. Yeah, here we go. Pardon me. Oh, this happened tomorrow, actually. On April 15th, 1948, F.H. Thornton, using a 9-inch reflector, observed Crato Plato and noticed a minute a minute but brilliant flash of light, which he described as looking very much like the flash of an AA shell exploding in the air at a distance of about 10 miles. In color, it was on the orange side of yellow. Huh. Transient lunar phenomenon. So there's a whole thing behind that. So, all right, I'm going to add that into the underbar of the description. That's you know what? I'm gonna send that to Noah as well. Where's Noah? Give me a second, Noah. Yeah, let's see here, because I want him to look at that. Let's move on up. Moving on up to 1948 as well. New York City subway fares jumped from 5 cents to 10 cents. That's a 100% increase. Holy crap. 1949. Wow, I'm like way behind on this other thing. So yeah, here's the here's all this. I gotta keep up with the primary script. 1949, International Military Tribunal at Nuremberg's Last Judgment. The Nuremberg Trials, post-World War II. 1 year later, in 1950, first edition of British comic Eagle. Okay. 5 years later, in 1955, 26-year-old catcher/outfielder Elston Howard became the first black U.S. citizen to play for the New York Yankees. He hit a single with 1 RBI in an 8-4 loss to the Boston Red Sox. Okay. 1956, Ampex Corp demonstrated the first commercial videotape recorder. Well, look at that. And now we're doing live streams on the internet, and I'm utilizing a 20-some-odd-year-old webcam. Which, might be getting a new webcam here soon. So, 1958, Soviet spacecraft Sputnik 2 with space dog Laika aboard burned up during re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. So that's right, the Soviets sent a dog into space and then allowed it to combust. Not nice people. In 1960, the first underwater launching of Polaris missile. Ooh. Is that submarine missile? Let's check this out here. Polaris missile. Oh, okay, yeah. So there we go. Here's the underwater launching of a Polaris missile. And this one looks like, yeah, it's being jettisoned from a surfaced submarine. But yeah, how they launch missiles from submarines is actually pretty cool. They don't set off the rockets underwater. They actually use air pressure and buoyancy to literally, like, if you take, if you've ever been a kid in a bathtub and, you push your rubber ducky under the water and let it go, depending on, the deeper you are, it'll actually shoot up out of the water. Well, that's what they're doing with the missile. It pops up out of the water, and then falls down a little, and then the rocket ignites, and then it sends off. If you actually watch a slow-mo of these missiles being launched. Anyway, 1960 as well, U.S. record company Motown, founded by Berry Gordy Jr., was incorporated as Motown Record Corporation. Jace, you know what Motown is, right?
The band, isn't it?
Yeah, the record production company. Yeah, this is on this date in 1960 is when they were incorporated as Motown Record Corporation. Founded by Berry Gordy, yeah, right here. 1960 as well, Lee Adams and Charles Strauss's musical Bye Bye Birdie, starring Dick Van Dyke, Chita Rivera, and Dick Gautier, opened at Martin Beck Theater in New York City, running for 607 performances. Alright, Dick Van Dyke, we all know him. We got the first live television broadcast from the Soviet Union occurred on this date in 1961. So, they finally got TV, that's cool. While that was happening, Cuban U.S. invasion army departed Nicaragua. Huh. Okay. 1961 as well, U.S. element 103 Lawrencium discovered. Alright, what is Lawrencium? Let's check that out here real quick. Lawrencium. Oh. Lawrencium is a synthetic chemical element with the symbol Lr, formerly Lw, and an atomic number of 103. That's why element 103. It is named in honor of Ernest Lawrence, inventor of the cyclotron, a device that was used to discover many artificial radioactive elements. Wow. That's cool. And it has a Wikipedia article, so I'm going to add that in the underbar of the description, post-show, of course, or post-stream. 1963, Quiet Beatle George Harrison was impressed by unsigned British blues band Rolling Stones. Huh. We know about the Rolling Stones. And as it said, a Rolling Stone gathers no moss. 1964, LA Dodgers future Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher Sandy Koufax threw his 9th complete game without allowing a walk in 4-0 opening day win over St. Louis Cardinals. Wow. Sandy Koufax. That's a name in my head for a reason. We also have in 1968, the first NBA game at New York's iconic Madison Square Garden. The New York Knicks defeated the San Diego Rockets 114-102. Nice. 1 year later, 1969, first regular season MLB game played outside the United States. Montreal Expos defeated St. Louis Cardinals 8-7 at Parc Jerry, Montreal. Cool. 1971, Fort Point, San Francisco, dedicated as a National Historic Site. So, what is that? Is that where SF-88 is and all that stuff? Let's see here. Fort Point, San Francisco. Yeah, I've been there. They have a lot of old enforcement. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's a fort. So I have not been to that exact section. I've been to other sections on that side of the bay. But there is a legitimate fortress right there, right under the bridge actually. Look at that. Wow. That's cool. I got to go back. I never thought I'd be wanting to go back to San Francisco, but I want to go visit that now. That's awesome. 1971, U.S. President Richard Nixon ended a blockade against People's Republic of China. Very, very stupid move. While that was happening, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld busing as means of achieving racial desegregation. So they're just busing people in and out and all that stuff. I got a DM. That is true. When a billionaire dies, who inherits their senators? That is a good question. Moving on up to 1972, That's Entertainment opened at Edison Theater, New York City for 4 performances. Well, I guess it was slightly entertaining, but not enough. 1972, the Provisional Irish Republican Army exploded 24 bombs in towns and cities across Northern Ireland. Yikes. So, see, like, this is why, like, terrorism is not just an Arab thing. Like, everybody does it. The IRA, white people, like, so, like, everybody does everything. No, ethnicity, class, or creed is without a universal sin that everybody else does. Also have, let's see here, 1973, acting FBI Director L. Patrick Gray resigned after admitting he destroyed evidence in the Watergate scandal. I'm surprised he didn't get imprisoned, although he probably did, I don't know. 1977, U.S. Supreme Court said people may refuse to display state motto on license. Okay, yeah, so if you don't want to, fly your state flag or whatever, yeah, that's fine. This used to be a free country, so, yeah. 1978, Korean Airlines Boeing 707 was fired on by Soviets and later crashed in Russia. Yikes. Those Soviets. 1978, thousands of Georgians demonstrated in the capital Tbilisi against Soviet attempts to change the constitutional status of the Georgian language. Wow. Yeah, that's their national language, Russia. Leave them alone. 1980, the first Cubans of the Mario boat float sailed to Florida. Mario boat lift. What is a Mario boat lift? Was that like a whole thing involving a bunch of... What is this? The Mario boat lift was a mass immigration of Cubans who traveled from Cuba's Mariel Harbor to the United States between April 15th and 31st of October in 1980. The term Marielito is used to refer to these refugees in both Spanish and English. Alright, so it was a whole thing. I'm going to add that in the underbar as well. There you go. Moving on up to 1981, the first space shuttle, Columbia 1, returned to Earth. Alright. 1983, U.S. President Ronald Reagan signed a $165 billion Social Security rescue. We don't need Social Security. We need the government to get the hell out of our business. 1985, Take Me Along opened and closed at Martin Beck Theater in New York City. Well, yeah, that's a shorter stint than That's Entertainment, so yeah, there we go. 1985 as well, we got the 49th U.S. Masters Tournament, Augusta National Golf Course. Bernard Langler won by 2 strokes from Steve Ballesteros, Curtis Strange, and Raymond Floyd, the first German champion. Nice. 1985 as well, Ahmed Salah won the first World Cup marathon at 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 9 seconds. All right. 1987, Turkey asked to join the European market. 1988, USSR, US, Pakistan, and Afghanistan signed the Afghanistan Treaty. What does that entail? 1988 Afghanistan Treaty. Let's look this up. The Geneva Accords. Okay. Well, I think that's the same thing. So I'm just going to add this into the underbar as well. It might be, it might not be, I don't know. If it is or isn't, whatever, just let me know. Going to move on up to 1989. The 1 billionth 100 millionth Chinese was born. Yikes. That's a lot of people they can throw at the enemies in war. 1989, in the Iran-Contra affair, all a Norse case went to the jury. We all know how that turned out. 1991. Cheek Blackwoods became the first NHL regular season champion in 20 years to lose in first round of the playoffs to the Minnesota North Stars. Well, everybody's got to break a record, even if it's bad ones. 1992, revival of Frank Loesser's musical Guys and Dolls, starring Nathan Lane, opened at Martin Beck Theater in New York City, running for 1,143 performances, winning 4 Tony Awards. That's entertainment. 1992 as well, UN imposed an embargo against Libya take effect. So the United Nations, the UN imposed embargo take effect. Okay, that's written weird. 1993, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill. Starring Bill Nye, debuted on KCTS TV in the U.S. You watch Bill Nye. Okay. 1994, got Branch Stapleton cult leader David Koresh promised to surrender after the completion of his Seven Seals manuscript. Ah. So what is this Seven Seals manuscript? You know what? That's a cult. I don't want to look it up, and I don't want to give it any real estate in my description section. So let's just move on up here. 1994 as well, a U.S. F-15 accidentally shot two U.S. helicopters down over Iraq, causing the deaths of 26. Friendly fire, it happens. You know, there is a story, I believe it's during Operation Desert Storm, where a Warthog, you know, an A-10, you know, the aircraft that goes BRRRR, friendly fired on a bunch of U.S. troops. Not U.S., British, I believe. But yeah, anyway, also have 1996, Trish Vandenberg's play Apple Doesn't Fall, directed by Leonard Nimoy, opened and closed at Lyceum Theater, New York City, after one performance. Yikes. That's a flop. Leonard Nimoy, poor guy. 1999, a severe hailstorm struck Sydney, Australia, causing 1.7 billion Australia dollars in insured damages, the most costly natural disaster in Australian history. Wow, that's a lot of money. 1999, as well, the NATO mistakenly bombed a convoy of ethnic Albanian refugees. In Yugoslav officials say 75 people were killed. Yikes. Friendly fire. But what is NATO doing bombing things? Aren't they supposed to be a peacekeeping force? Yeah. Anyway, moving on up to the next millennium in the year 2000, Metallica filed a lawsuit against P2P sharing phenomenon Napster, Party to Party. The lawsuit eventually led the movement against file sharing programs. And they're still awarded A against piracy, which, it's not stealing. You still have your copy, I have mine. You know? Like, if I make a carbon copy of your car is still in the driveway, you still have your keys, you know, nothing's changed, nothing at all, I just have a copy. Did I magically take your car away from you? No, I did not. I just made another one. It's not stealing. It's called sharing. It's called being compassionate for other people and allowing other people to enjoy your work without hiding it behind a money wall. Greedy fucks. Anyway, 2002, Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez returned to office 2 days after being ousted and arrested by the country's military. Alright. 2003, the Human Genome Project was completed with 99% of the human genome sequenced to an accuracy of 99.99%, which is terrifying because now all we need to do is synthesize that and we can start lab-growing humans and, you know, all the stuff Alex Jones says is true. So, and I think we're going to be talking about something like that again, specifically with China, I think. 2003, U.S. troops in Baghdad capture Abu Abbas, leader of the Palestinian group that killed a U.S. on the hijacked cruise liner, the Achille Laroto, in 1985. Yikes. 2005, the Oregon Supreme Court nullified marriage licenses issued to gay couples a year earlier by Multnomah County. Huh. Well, that's how the turns tables. Oregon today is now a frickin' utopia for that crap. 2007, at least 200,000 demonstrators in Ankara, Turkey, protested against the possible candidacy of incumbent Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Alright. 2010, Icelandic volcano Eyjafjallajökull began erupting from the top crater in the center of the glacier. I remember that. It caused a bunch of flight issues. Because of all the crap up in the air, they can't fly aircraft over there. It'll choke the engines and kill people. 2012, we got the 27th Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. The Beastie Boys, Donovan, Guns N' Roses, Laura Nyro, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Small Faces, the Blue Caps, the Comets, the Crickets, the Famous Flames, the Midnighters, the Miracles, Freddie King, Don Kirshner, Tom Dowd, Glenn Johns, and Cosimo Matassa inducted. Nice. 2012 as well, J.K. Rowling, author of the Harry Potter novels, launched her website Pottermore. I didn't even know that. 2013, 33 people were killed after a bus tumbled off a cliff in Trujillo, Peru. Yeah, isn't that off of the Death Road? Is that where the Death Road is? South America, Peru, in that area.
I've actually
2013 as
used
well.
the Pottermore site.
I'm sorry.
It's kind of funny. I've used the Pottermore site. You can do like you basically get the Sorting Hat, tells you what your school is. You make a wand.
Huh.
It's kind of silly, but
I recently saw a meme that perfectly described, what house I would belong to.
what's that?
Azkaban.
Azkaban. Oh,
That's where I would go. Just send me straight to prison.
great. Just to, yeah.
Anyway, 2013, comedian Kevin Hart was arrested on suspicion of drunk driving in California. Huh. 2013 as well, Justin Trudeau, aka Fidel Castro Jr., quote-unquote son of long-serving Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, yeah, no he's not, was elected leader of the Liberal Party of Canada. Alright, and this is when everything started going to shit in Canada. I see. 2015, archaeologists announced they had found at Lomkiwi in Kenya 3.3 million year old stone tools, the oldest ever discovered, at which predate the earliest humans. Alright, so maybe people were around 3.3 million years ago, as far as actual sentience and creating tools to manipulate the environment around them. 2017, Methotsamula rubbish dump collapsed on new houses in Colombo, Sri Lanka, killing 26. That's a crappy way to die. Getting buried in garbage. And apparently that actually happened not too far away. I don't know when it happened, a while ago, but there's a garbage facility like 20 minutes down the road, and apparently a pile of garbage fell on this guy, and he was buried, and they didn't find him for several days. He just I think he had clocked out or wasn't clocked out. I don't know the exact story. The Golden Moon reminded me about it the other day. It's like, yeah, somebody died there. Wow. And they found his body several days later. Well, I mean, that's remarkable, because what's the first thing you do when you're looking for a corpse? They didn't even know that there was a corpse. They can't smell it because he's buried under trash. The odor is covered up by more odor. Anyway, we got 2018, 33rd Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees: Nina Simone, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, Bon Jovi, The Cars, Dire Straits, and Moody Blues inducted. Alright. While that was happening, Beyonce was the first black woman to headline the Coachella Music Festival. Her performance on this day was the most watched performance ever on YouTube. Wow. Okay. 2018 as well, National Gardening Day since this time, 2018, and according to the National Day calendar. So, this is the anniversary of National Gardening Day. It's only been around for 5 years, so it's one of the more recent days. Then again, every day I hear more about these internet things like Pi Day, May the 4th, Revenge of the 5th. Those actually have substance. But every day is just some kind of stupid day. Like, there's a maple syrup day, there's a hot dog day, there's a donut day. Who comes up with this crap? Anyway, 2018, the U.S., UK, and French forces carried out airstrikes on sites associated with Syria's chemical weapons program in response to the Doma gas attack. 2019, 11 tornadoes hit U.S. southern states, killing 8 in Mississippi, Texas, and Louisiana. Wow. While that was happening in 2019 as well, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, at center of controversy over comments about 9/11 at speech to Council on American Islamic Relations after tweet by Donald Trump, defended by Nancy Pelosi. I don't know what any of that was, but yeah. Okay, more political crap. Pardon me. 2019 as well. Seychelles President Danny Fowler made first ever live speech from a submersible pleading for better marine protection. Well, that's interesting. A live speech while underwater in a submarine. Huh. Well, that was happening 2019 as well. South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg officially announced his presidential campaign in India. First openly gay candidate, or Indiana, Not India, Indiana. First openly gay candidate to run for U.S. president. All right. 2020, finally, former President Barack Obama endorsed his former Vice President Joe Biden for president, because of course he did. He's his puppet. While that was happening, IMF warned the global economy expected to contract by 3% in 2020 due to COVID-19, the Great Lockdown, as I like to call the Great Pause, the steepest downturn since the Great Depression, which is just laughable. In today's world, the Great Depression has nothing on us. 2020, parts of Europe began to ease lockdown restrictions after 5 to 6 weeks, with some shops opening in Austria and parts of Italy. All right. 2020, U.S. President Donald Trump froze funding for the World Health Organization pending a review for mistakes in handling the Kung Flu pandemic and for being China-centric, prompting international criticism. Because, of course, everybody's a simp for China. Moving on up to 2021, Coinbase became the first major cryptocurrency company to trade shares on the New York Stock Exchange. Wow. All right. 2021, former Minnesota police officer who shot Dante Wright with a gun instead of a taser was arrested and charged with second-degree manslaughter. Yikes. And, you know what? It's so easy to judge. I would love to see any of the people who pointed fingers at her, I'd love to see them operate better under such pressure. That is a job where you're laying your life on the line every second of every day. A simple traffic stop can end up with a bullet in your head. You have no idea the dangers of being a police officer, and just sit there and say, oh, she cracked under pressure. Well, you know what? Why don't you put yourself under pressure and see how well you handle it, bucko? 2021, human cells grown in monkey cells for 20 days reported by a U.S.-Chinese team at the Salk Institute in Cell. And that's what I was talking about. Animal, hybrids. Alex Jones is always right. There's a reason why they're suing him for $1 trillion. They're trying to crush him because he is correct. So, 2021 as well. U.S. President Brandon, not my president, said, quote, it's time to end the U.S.'s longest war, end quote, confirming his decision to withdraw all U.S. troops from Afghanistan by September 11th. Really boneheaded move, what he did. Moving on up to just last year, 2022, Russian ship Moskva, the flagship of its Black Fleet, sunk in the Black Sea during the invasion of Ukraine amid conflicting accounts. Yeah, Ukraine kicked their teeth right down to the bottom, And last but not least, 2022 as well, the biggest surge in years of attacks by Arab militants in Israel left 14 dead, leading to Israel army operations that kill a further 20. When will people realize that Israel is an aggressive and horrible nation that is just trying to kill everybody around them? They've already taken over all of Palestine, they're in so much cahoots with Google. Google Maps doesn't even recognize Palestine as a country anymore, So they're using their power and influence to destroy entire societies. People have got to realize that. Anyway, before we move on to the person deaths, audience, were there any articles that grabbed your attention more than most? Jace, what about you? Or have you been phasing in and out like yesterday? I take that as a yes.
I'm not the one who's so far away.
Anyway, audience, were there any articles that grabbed your attention more than most? Anything you wished we had elaborated more about? Anything you would have liked to say if you had been here? Start a dialogue in the comments section. Do we have a live chat? No, we don't. So, anyway, we're going to move us up into bursts. Starting us off in 1527, we have Abraham Ortelius, a Flemish cartographer and dealer in maps, books, and antiquities. Theorem Orbis Terrarum. Born in Antwerp, Belgium, died in 1598. What is this? Theorem Orbis Terrarum. Let's check that out here real quick. Oh, here we go. It is considered to be the first true modern atlas, written by Abraham Ortelius, strongly encouraged by Gillis Hoffman, and originally printed on 20th May 1570 in Antwerp. It consisted of blah, 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 blah. So here we go. I'm going to add that in the underbar as well. Moving on up to 1629, we got Christian Huygens, a Dutch mathematician, astronomer, discovered Saturn's rings, and scientist dynamics, born in The Hague, Netherlands. 1788, we have David G. Burnett, interim president of the Republic of Texas, born in Newark, New Jersey. So yeah, he was president of the Republic of Texas while Houston was off fighting a war or something. I'm not sure, but yeah. We also have 1797. Adolphe Thiers, the first president of the Third French Republic, serving from 1871 through 77, born in Beauc-Bel-Air, France. Huh, fancy. Got Charles Haley in 1890, Anglo-German pianist, conductor, and founder of the Haley Orchestra, born in Hagen, Westphalia. 1866, Anne Sullivan, a.k.a. Johanna Macy, U.S. teacher who educated Helen Keller, born in Feeding Hills, Massachusetts. And why is she not highlighted? That is remarkable what she did. She deserves to be highlighted. So our source is just brain dead. Moving on up to 1866, we got that one. 1872. Abdullah Yusuf Ali, a British Indian Islamic scholar and translator, translated the Quran into English, born in Bombay, British India. 1876, Cecil Chubb, English barrister, gifted Stonehenge to the British nation, born in Shrewton. Alright. 1886, Edward C. Tolman, U.S. Psychologist, behaviorism, born in West Newton, Massachusetts. What is behaviorism? Let's check that out here real quick. Behaviorism. It is a systematic approach to understanding the behavior of humans and other animals. It assumes that behavior is either a reflex evoked by the pairing of certain antecedent stimuli, instant stimuli in the environment, or a consequence of the individual's history, including specifically reinforcement and punishment consequences, together with the individual's current motivational state and controlling stimuli. Alright, there we go. Psychologists and all that whatnot. Who else was born on this day? Arnold J. Toynbee, 1889, an English historian, a study of history, born in London. Alright. B.R. Ambedkar, 1891, Indian politician, jurist, architect of the Constitution of India, and social reformer who inspired the Dalit Buddhist movement, born in Mahau, India. Alright. 1918, Mary Healy, a U.S. actress, The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T. He married his wife. Well, I would assume that he would marry his wife. He wouldn't marry not his wife, I would hope. Born in New Orleans, Louisiana. Rod Steiger, 1925, a U.S. actor, illustrated man, and pawnbroker, born in West Hampton, New York. Okay. I'm already way past John Glode. 1926, Jan Magard, Danish composer and musicologist, Trippikion, born in Copenhagen, Denmark. Huh. Alright. I gotta catch up. Oh yeah, Rod Steiger. That guy. He looks very familiar. I don't know why, but I've seen him somewhere. It's on the tip of my brain. You know, I can't remember exactly where, but I've seen him somewhere. We also have, let's see here, 1935, Susan Cunliffe-Lister, a.k.a. Lady Marsham of Ilton, British disability campaigner and Paralympic athlete, longest-serving female member of UK House of Lords. Born in Caithness, Scotland. And she died this year, 2023. Susan Cunliffe-Lister. Let's check this out. When did she die? Like, fairly recently. March 12th. Wow, that was just last month. Yeah, she just died last month. Damn. 1936, we have Frank Serpico, a U.S. policeman who blew whistle on New York Police Department corruption, born in Brooklyn, New York. We got Kenneth Mars, 1936, a U.S. actor and the producers, born in Chicago, Illinois, whatever. Julia Christie, 1941, British actress, darling and Dr. Zhivago, born in Chakua, Assam, India. Huh. Pete Rose, 1941, a U.S. baseball utility, 17-time MLB All-Star, National League MVP in 1973, World Series 1975, as well as an MVP, 76 Cincinnati Reds, 1980 Philadelphia Phillies, as well as a manager of the Cincinnati Reds from 1984 through 89, banned for gambling, born in Cincinnati, Ohio. Well, yeah, he threw all that away. That's a tragedy. We also have Richie Blackmore, 1945. English guitarist, Rainbow, Stone Cold, Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water. Bam, 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 bam. Born in Weston-super-Mare, England. We got Patrick Fairley, 1946, Scottish guitarist, Marmalade, Oh La Dee, Oh La Da. 1950, Francis Collins, from a U.S. scientist who led the Human Genome Project, born in Staunton, Virginia. I think that's supposed to be Virginia. Virginia? Okay, well, I don't know. 1950, Randolph Powell, an actor, Alan Dallas, in Logan's Run, born in Iowa City, Iowa. That's a movie I still have yet to see, Logan's Run. Brad Garrett, 1960, a U.S. actor and comedian, Everybody Loves Raymond, born in Los Angeles, California. Who is he? Like, is he the older brother with the deep voice? I think he is. Yeah, he is. Raymond. Yeah, he's that guy. Okay. Wow, he's aged quite a bit. Dang. We also have Robert Carlyle, 1961, a British actor, trained spotting in the Full Monty, born in Glasgow, Scotland. Greg Madu. Oh, yeah, here he is. Greg Madu, 1966, a Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher, 4-time National League Cy Young Award, World Series 1995, 8-time MLB All-Star, 18-time Golden Glove for the Atlanta Braves, born in San Angelo, Tejas. And last but not least, 1979, Randall McCloy, survival of the Sago Mine disaster. All right. Jumping on up into deaths. Starting us off in 7-Eleven, we have Childebert III, King of the Franks, died. We also have Louis of Nassau, 1574, Dutch nobleman and general who led the Dutch revolt against Spanish rule, died in battle at the Battle of Mookerheide at 35. Alright, 1914, Hubert Bland, English co-founder of the Fabian Society. What is the Fabian Society? Let's check that out here real quick. The Fabian Society. Here we go. The Fabian Society is a British bourgeois socialist organization whose purpose is to advance the principles of social democracy and democratic socialism via gradualist and reformist effort in democracies rather than by revolutionary overflow. So, subverting a nation. Alright. So, there we go. What's up?
I said lamb chop.
Oh, hey, welcome, Noah. How are you doing today?
One second. Are we still doing the show?
We are live right now. Welcome.
I'm gonna be gone in 2.5 hours. I have to go outside and get a ride to my doctor's appointment in like 2.5.
All right, have fun.
At 1:30.
Okay.
But I'm here.
All right. We're going to move on up here. We have 1924, Louis Sullivan, a U.S. architect, father of skyscrapers, died at the age of 67. All right, so rest in peace, father of skyscrapers. Vladimir Mayakovsky, okay.
Don't worry about it. Just don't need to worry about butchering it.
Mayakovsky. There we go. Mayakovsky. Whatever. 1930, a Russian poet and playwright, Ode to Revolution and the Bathhouse, committed suicide by shooting himself through the heart at 36. Yikes. 1941, Guillermo Kahlo, German-Mexican photographer and father of Frida Kahlo, died at 69. So, whoever that is, cool. Pete Frandon, 1983, English rock bassist, The Pretenders, Brass in Pocket, drowned in his bathtub after a drug overdose at 30. Yikes. Be careful, guys. 1984, Dionysus Papagiannopoulos, Greek actor. 1995.
Dionysus, yeah.
What?
Greek. Nothing.
Okay. 1995, Burl Ives, a U.S. folk singer, A Little Bitty Tear, Silver and Gold, actor, Cat on the Haunted Tin Roof, and Snowman in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, died from complications of mouth cancer at 85. That sucks. But yeah, anybody who's seen that little, like, stop-motion, like, cartoon, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, where, like, you know, everything's made out of felt?
Yes, I've seen... I think that was also done on Robot Chicken as a parody.
Yeah, well, of course, a parody, yeah. But the actual, like, you know, the thing that came out, like, 1935 or whatever. Yeah, he acted as the Snowman. That's pretty cool. 1995 as well, we have Michael Scott Montague Fordham, an English child psychiatrist and Jungian analyst. Huh. That's one hell of a name. What is Jungian? What is it? Jungian analyst. Hold on a second. Why can't I? There we go. Highlight that specifically. Let's check that out here real quick. At its fundamental level, Jungian psychotherapy, also referred to as Jungian analysis, is a thorough analytical approach to talk therapy that seeks to bring balance and union between the conscious and unconscious parts of the mind.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I might look that up later.
Yeah, I actually have the link here. I'm posting that in the underbar of the Wikipedia, the description below. By the way, I DM'd you that link earlier because there's a phenomenon. We reported on that earlier today in the main body of the history show. Anyway, moving on up. 1996, we have Gaylord Birch, a U.S. drummer. The Pointer Sisters and Herbie Hancock died of cancer at 50. Well, that's one hell of a name. 1999, Anthony Lully, British actor and singer-songwriter, Dr. Dolittle, Goldfinger theme, Willy Wonka score, died at 67. Wow.
Wait, the movie didn't come out until 71, though.
Yeah, no, this is when she died. We're in deaths.
Yeah, okay. They were producing it for a while, though.
Yeah, no, she died on this date in 1999, is what I was saying. And that's what she was involved with. Dr. Dolittle, Goldfinger theme, Willy Wonka score. In the year 2000, we have Phil Katz, a U.S. computer programmer, zip file format. Thank you very much for that. Died from the effects of alcoholism at 37 because nobody wanted to buy WinZip or WinRAR, whichever the two. This is what happens, people. So
yeah, WinRAR was always, there was a key. It's just a donation for you're not really buying it.
Anyway, we got Ollie Johnson, died on this date in 2008. A U.S. animator and the last living member of Disney's 9 Old Men, died at 95. An end to an era. Goodbye, Disney. You will not be missed. 2011 as well, William Lipscomb, U.S. chemist working in nuclear magnetic resonance, theoretical chemistry, boron chemistry, and biochemistry, got the Nobel Prize in 1976.
So he's basically worked at CERN, is what you're saying.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So, however, we did talk about the world's first particle collider. So
yeah. Oh, you did?
Earlier today, yeah. So, actually, I think that was 1930s. Let me double check here real quick to see if I can find it. 1950, 1940, 1930. 1932, world's first particle accelerator built by Ernst Walton and John Cockcroft performed the first artificial nuclear fission with lithium at Cambridge University, all the way back in 1932. That is astounding. So, anyway, moving back up into deaths, 2013, we have George Jackson, a U.S. rhythm and blues rock and southern soul songwriter, One Bad Apple, old time rock and roll, as well as a singer, died of cancer, 68. 2014, Armando Peraza, Cuban jazz, Latin jazz, and rock percussionist, George Shearing, Carl Tejada, Santana, 1972 through 90, dies at about the age of 89 because the birth year is disputed. All right. Bernie Madoff, 2021, a U.S. fraudster and financier who committed the largest fraud in U.S. history, died in prison of natural causes at 82. That's too good of an ending for that guy.
Yeah, really.
Yep. Should have been executed, via putting a centipede into his brain through the ear.
What? Oh, okay.
Yep. Mike Bossy, 2022. Rest in peace, Mike Bossy, you great hockey person. Canadian Hockey Hall of Fame right wing, Stanley Cup 1980 through 83. Conn Smythe Trophy 1982. 7-time NHL All-Star for the New York Islanders. Died of lung cancer at 65. Rest in peace to all the deaths. Happy birthday to all the births. And that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar in the description for any links you may find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. Please go check them out. Tomorrow, I know I said this yesterday, but I'm going to be fiddling around with Twitch Studio later today, and I'm going to be playing Elder Scrolls Online on Twitch. We're going to be making the Twitch switch today. So from now on, tomorrow, we're going to be streaming on Twitch. We will be uploading still onto this channel, onto the Omnicolon, all the other places, of course. But as for live streaming, please meander on over there. And eventually, down the line, I will get the deluxe version or whatever of Streamlabs for you shaved your beard, dude. Wow.
Yes, I did.
Wow, you look actually pretty good today.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna take this off when we're done.
Yep, awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, for your dose of Fast Events Daily, we stream every day at 10 in the morning Pacific Time, which is 11 Mountain, 12 Central, and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander.
I'm Noah.
And earlier we had the one and only Hunter Jace. Jace Hunter Jace Man. And of course, you viewer are you, and until you catch us tomorrow, or if you're interested in some news, notable events, weather, and sports, the OMNI Coalition News Show Talkiness is coming up in a few hours at 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Anyway, until whenever, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and